Welcome to episode 10. This is On the Rhodes. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Rhodes. I'm Donovan. This is the Thanksgiving episode. Yes, it is. Hey, welcome back, guys. Been a while, had some stuff going on, but we'll get to that in a little bit. First thing, let's talk about the government shutdown. It's officially over. As far as the national parks are concerned, everything is getting back to normal. The visitor centers are opening back up. Recreation.gov is starting to open back up, so you can get your passes, your backcountry passes, everything that you need to satisfy your camping needs. That's a good thing. One thing I did read an article. It says that anybody that's coming into our country, international travel, you will be having to pay starting January 1st of 2026. You have to pay $100 surcharge to get in our national parks. Yeah, you've heard it correctly. International tourists will pay $100 as a surcharge to get into the national park. Now, people that live here in the nation, everything will stay the same. You can get in the national parks. You'll also enjoy free entry during the holidays and things like that. It doesn't affect us, but if you do want to chime in, message me or hit in the comments and let me know what do you think about this international travel thing and having to pay $100 surcharge just to see our national parks. I'm really curious to find out how everybody feels about that. Another thing, flights. I had to fly back to New Jersey for some unfortunate circumstances. I had some other things go on back home. I was requested to come back home. My best friend growing up, he grew up 3 houses away from me. He suddenly passed away. I'll just set the whole thing up. My aunt got sick. She lives in Massachusetts. My Aunt Rosemary, rest in peace. She got sick. My mom and my sister, they go up to Massachusetts, to check on my aunt. And the end result is that she ended up passing away. So she passed away. My mom and my sister, they're on their way back to New Jersey. In the midst of them driving back, she finds out that her best friend ended up getting sick. Really, really tragic. So my mom was able to make it back to New Jersey to say goodbye to her best friend. Rest in peace, Miss Crenshaw. When my mom came back home to say goodbye to her best friend, I get a phone call the next morning that my best friend growing up lived 3 houses down. Me and him were best friends all through high school. I mean, we did everything together. I'd be at his house, he'd be at my house. His parents would take me when they would go do things. I would get a chance to go with them. I get a call that he passed away. With the government shutdown, Las Vegas and Philly was on that list of the 40 airports where they were taking flights. They were reducing the amount of flights flying to certain destinations. And it was tough for me to get a nonstop flight. They were only flying certain times of the day out. So I told my buddy, his younger brother, who also was one of my closest friends growing up. I was like, bro, I had missed Miss Crenshaw's wake. I wasn't able to make it back to New Jersey because of what was going on. I said to him, yo, man, I don't think I'm not going to be able to make it out there. He calls me on a Monday. He says, listen, man, we really would love if you could come out here. I told him, I said, listen, I'll call you back in a few minutes. By the grace of God, I go online, and the airline that I chose to fly with, they had nonstop flight from Vegas into Philadelphia International Airport and a return flight from Philadelphia International to Vegas, both nonstop. I was able to book flight. I had to go on a Friday and then come back on a Monday, because if I didn't do that because of the reduction in flights, I wouldn't have been able to get back here to Las Vegas until that next Friday. I would have been in New Jersey from Friday to Friday. It would have took me into the holidays, but I didn't want to do that. And I did this hack because they're charging $78 a bag on this airline. $78 to check my bag. I'm like, shit, $78. I came up with a little hack. What I did was I applied for their credit card. And part of the perks of applying for their credit card is that you get 2 bags free. Flying out, zero for the bag. Flying back, zero for the bag. I was very fortunate in that aspect. And we had F1 going on. Thursday night, before I flew out, they were doing practice runs for F1, and we had record rain. It rained all week. People thought that the race was going to be a rainy race. Thank God the weather cooperated, but all these influencers and everything, they descended onto F1. They went out to the paddock, and some celebrities were coming. So it was kind of a test run on Thursday. The chefs and everything could get their food right. The food looked phenomenal. Looked like it was going to be a great race. I'm just wondering to see what the numbers look like because tourism is still down out here. People are still coming to Vegas. Don't get me wrong. You go to certain parts of the valley, there's people out here and they're still coming. I think it's down 9%. Tourism is down. They're trying to, do things to help us. They're giving discounts on parking. The station casinos, you can go there and get some food for reasonable prices. They are trying to do their part to try to bring tourism back. But Wall Street money is taking over Las Vegas. These big corporations, they're buying these casinos and they have no clue how to bring the people here. Back in the day, man, they give you comps. They would give you free meals and things like that. That part of Vegas is losing the mystique. As a local, we can still find that little piece of heaven out here in the valley that's going to keep us happy. Vegas will recover. Vegas has always been Vegas. I've been coming out here since 1999, and they always find a way to reinvent themselves. We just got to give Vegas time. Once they get their feet back under them again, it'll still be the biggest entertainment city of the world because we got the E's. They're starting to build a stadium. They're building a Hard Rock casino out here. The guitar is on its way up. We have the Sphere. So we find ways to reinvent ourselves. We'll be good. I'll never say nothing negative about Vegas because we'll just find our way. Hopefully that'll be okay. Flying out to Philly, I go to the airport. The airport, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I got there, tried to get my flight, flew out, you know, uh, 2 hours later. Hour and a half before my flight, I was sitting there with some people that was flying to Philly as well. It was empty as far as Vegas standards. I'm walking through the airport. There's barely anybody there. Walk right through TSA. I flew on a Friday. F1 people were here. They said people that work at the airport said that the incoming flights for F1 and everything was kind of light too. But that's okay. We're sitting there. We get on the flight. I have my exit row to myself. It was relatively a full flight going out. Having the exit row seat is just a game changer. Just having that whole row to myself. It was a great flight. I get to Philly. It's total pandemonium in Philly. It was people everywhere in a good way. Holiday travel. Thanksgiving was coming up. And it was pretty cool. My daughter's at the airport, Dad, but there's just so much traffic. I said, don't even worry about it. But once we got out and we headed, back over to New Jersey, traffic was it was rush hour because I landed about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And we right in the midst of rush hour. I don't miss New Jersey traffic. We get it out here in Vegas. Where I live at, I live right here at Sahara and Strip. You got to plan your excursions. If I'm going shopping or something like that, I got to make sure I do it um, pre or post um, rush hour because you could be caught in traffic and you'll just be sitting there. Anyway, went to New Jersey. Went to go lay my friend to rest. Rest in peace, Scotty. It was just so good to see so many people I haven't seen in years, and it's a shame that we have to get together in times of sorrow. We got to kind of change that. But one thing that I saw when we went to the repass, with the exception of people taking pictures together, nobody really had their phone out. We were just there. We were talking. We were there in the moment, and nobody was really worried about videotaping anything. We just wanted to take pictures for memories, and it was so great when I got back home to go on social media and see the pictures that were posted. Some of the pictures that I wasn't able to participate in, and my mom got sick at the funeral. She's never seen me really upset, too much. Bothers her when I get upset. It was a little hot in the church, and I could tell something was up because she took her head and put it in her hands. I was like, "Mom, are you okay?" And then she looked over at me. She put her head on my shoulder. She's like, "Call the ambulance." While I'm loading my friend up into a hearse, they're loading my mom into an ambulance. But mom's out. She got to celebrate Thanksgiving yesterday. Hey, mom. She's doing okay. She looked really good in the pictures. But I'm just telling you, man, when I got the call about Scotty, I went ahead and I put my phone number on social media. And, my daughter's texting me like, "Well, what are you doing? Why is your number on social media?" I said, "Listen, I'm doing it for a reason." Some of my friends that I grew up in the neighborhood back home, and some people I haven't talked to in a while, I said, "Just call me so I can tell you I love you." I got a call about Scotty on a weekday, and it was early in the morning Vegas time. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. Of course, we're 3 hours behind. And from 4 in the morning to about noon, and then I went to sleep for a couple hours. Then I got up. I talked to people all day long. Some people was like 15, 20 minutes. Some people was an hour. One of my friends, Dean, shout out to Dean. Me and Dean were on the phone for like 2 hours. And I got to just talk to everybody. We got to catch up, and we were just in that moment. One thing I can tell you, I know, it's easy to pick up the phone and text somebody, but sometimes I'm a phone person. If you're in my inner circle, I'll talk to you on the phone for a long time. FaceTime helps a lot too, because you get to see that person, you get to interact with that person, you get to see the emotion of that person. Texting people is kind of dry, but if it's somebody you love, pick up the phone, please, and just tell them that you love them, because at Scotty's service, one of our other mutual friend, Eric, was up there. He was talking, and he said, "Man, I was going to make this phone call because I usually call from time to time and see how Scotty's doing." And the one day he didn't make the call. He didn't feel guilty about it, but he could have made the phone call, and he said he just didn't. And then you just never know. We're on borrowed time. And if there's somebody that you want to talk to, just pick up the phone and call them. Just say hello. You don't got to keep them on the phone forever. Just say hi. In the midst of all this stuff going on, my granddaughter turned 21. Yeah, I have a 21-year-old granddaughter. I started early, folks. But she went on a cruise, and she had the time of her life. I saw the pictures and videos. She just had such a great time. So 21 was very old for her. So also when I came out to Jersey, we went out. We go to my ex-wife's house, and everybody's there. My daughter, one of my sons, my oldest son met us later, but we're sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, I just can't wait to go out with you, Papa." And we took her to one of the local places. I called a lot of friends. It was a whole bunch of us, took over the bar. And she said, "This is what you do?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Come out and have fun." She had an amazing time. She's not a huge drinker, but she had some drinks, and her boyfriend came, and her dad showed up. My oldest son showed up, and my daughter-in-law, all my kids were there. I'll put a picture up there so you can see that. But man, I just got to see so many people I grew up with, so many people I haven't seen in years on this trip to Jersey. I didn't sleep at all in Jersey. I got a couple hours of sleep here and there, but it was well worth it. When I got back to Vegas, the flight coming back to Vegas was pretty light, but it was the holidays. So again, I had the exit row all to myself. The flight was amazing. People were excited to come out here for the holidays. There were quite a few people with their families coming out for the holidays to enjoy Vegas. And I did that too. I came out here a couple of times during Thanksgiving, and I paid like $50 or more to go to dinner. I went to Lavo one time. Man, they give you like a 3-4 course meal. You get a couple of drinks, and Thanksgiving is so much fun, because back in the day, you'd have like an aunt or uncle or your grandparents or something like that if mom and dad weren't cooking, and we would go, and all our cousins would be there, and we'd eat dinner, and then after that, all the kids, they put the kids in one room, and they'd be out there playing spades or something like that, or they'd be playing Monopoly. Monopoly was pretty big back then. Like the older kids got to play Monopoly, but when I was younger, we'd be in this one room, and you just be hanging out with your cousins, and then some of them would spend the night, and Then the other ones would go home. We've lost that a little bit. That sense of family was so big. People still do it. When I saw it on social media, which is so awesome to see people with their family and having Thanksgiving. But in this age where it's so easy to pick up your phone and it's so easy to scroll, if you can get the time, if your family's around, your immediate family, you there with your wife, your kids, man, just even if you just do it once a month, get together and have dinner at the table. Just sit at the table, everybody just, you know, put your phones down and just talk. Just try to bring back that sense of family because it's so important. All of us live, especially with my family. My brother lives in South Carolina. My sisters live in New Jersey with my mom, and I'm out here in Las Vegas. Sometimes people don't chase their dreams because, your parents. And one of the things that my mom and dad told me, they told me, you got to go chase your dreams. Whenever we tell you to come home, of course, my dad passed away in February, but they both told me to come out here and chase my dreams. The only request that my parents ever has, and my mom still has the same thing. If she gets on the phone and tells me to come home, I come home. I jump on the plane and I come and spend time with my family. And it's very important. Also, this is episode 10, actually 11, because I have episode 0. Shout out to 11 episodes, this 11 episode celebration. I do have new stickers out. Some of the new stickers are floating around in New Jersey. I took the stickers there, but I also have new stickers. I got some patches on the way. I think I only did 10 patches this time. A few lucky people will actually have a patch, and if you want to, you can kind of iron it on a t-shirt or something like that. But we have on the Rhodes patches on their way. Be on the lookout for that this week. And then, well, the next episode, probably this week, next weekend, I'm going to try to get our guest on. I'm not going to say who it is, but they'll be on. And we're going to talk about going on a cruise, talk about things, do's and don'ts, and information you might not know about cruising. That's going to be a very informative episode. We also, in a future episode, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health, mental wellness as well. Because I want to talk about when I was camping and I spent a lot of time by myself, and people were asking me, what did you do? Well, read books, and sometimes I was just on an open road listening to music, but it gives you a chance to connect with yourself while you're traveling. It's so awesome. You have to be able to spend long periods of time by yourself if you're a solo traveler. And there's ups and downs. Some people they ride an emotional roller coaster, but for me, it was just so much fun. The solitude was just mind blowing. I had so much fun. But you definitely have to be comfortable when you go out there and camp, and you just have to be careful when you camp because there's just so many things out there that can create unsafe situations. But nonetheless, episode 10, people, man, I did not know what I was doing when I started this. And I'm not doing this cast. This isn't about money for me. This is a love of camping, a love of talking to people about different topics. And it's another way for me to connect with my friends. Like I was saying, those park rangers, thank you for encouraging me to do something with my voice. And it was funny when I was back home hanging out with the guys and I'm giving out these stickers. I was telling them, yeah, the park ranger said I have this calm, soothing voice. And I talk a little different when I'm out with people. I'm talking louder and things like that. But I I gave them a chance to hear my podcast voice. So this is actually my podcast voice. I do definitely sound a little different when I'm out. But yeah, this is the voice. It's a little deep. It's my daughter said I sound like back in the day. There was this radio station in Philly, and at night, this guy Tony Browning. It's the Quiet Storm on WDAS-FM. So, yeah, guys, thanks for coming along on this episode. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. And once again, this is On the Roads. I'll see you next time.